Hey guys, welcome back to ET Live. It's another very special Celebrity Big Brother Breakdown. I am Brice Sander.
I'm Katie Krause.
And Queen
Shannon
Elizabeth is here!
Thank you for having me.
Listen to the applause in the
Yes.
background. Thanks for being here.
No, thank you.
This is so exciting for us.
Though I still don't like seeing you outside of
Yeah.
the Big Brother house.
I don't like being outside of the house. I mean, I do and I don't. You know, I didn't want to leave. I mean, but it's nicer out here. People are much nicer to me on the outside of the house than inside.
And now that you've sort of had time to process what actually went down, we're a few days from you leaving the house, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm still sad because I wanted to play the challenges. If I could just go in and do the challenges, that'd be so fun.
Well, we were talking about OTEV. We think that maybe OTEV will be this week, and I feel like as a Big Brother fan, we would love to play OTEV. Is that what you're most bummed about? Like the different special challenges?
I wanted the wall. Yes, I wanted the wall. So I was really bummed because we figured it out before I was evicted. I was like, you guys, I wanted to do the wall. And they had no sympathy for me. But OTEV and Zingbot were two things I really wanted to experience, and I don't think they're doing it. I think I was told they're not doing either one, so then that made me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like I only missed out on the one.
Yes.
All right, we are going to dive into everything that's gone down in the last week, what's still to come. There will be some spoilers, so if you don't follow live feeds or don't want to get spoiled from the episode that airs tonight, maybe click out of this, save for later, watch after tonight's episode. But should we jump right into kind of the biggest bombshells of the last week? So you were evicted. They just rolled that footage back. When did you know you were going home?
I mean, I think the minute they put me, like before they put me on the block, because I had figured it out before they nominated. Like halfway through the day, we put it together. Because at first I was told it was going to be James and Omarosa. And then I realized nobody was talking to me, nobody's looking me in the eye. And James kind of came to me and said, wait, how much do you trust Ross? I feel like he might be flipping on us. And he put it together first, and I was like, well, let's test this out. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That's what's happening.
How disappointed are you in Ross and Marissa? Because they really did seem like your friends and your allies, and you guys seem like a very strong group.
Yeah.
Are you still hurt? I know that you said you're not going to vote for them in the end if they make it.
Yep.
Nothing's changed there.
No, it's funny because, Ross was saying, when it was in there, before I left, he's like, just go watch the episodes. You'll see there were reasons I did everything. And I've watched some of them. I'm like, wow, it's worse than I thought. Like, everything they did is way worse than I even imagined because I didn't know they were plotting the week before. And that was the week I helped him get his HOH.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't have been HOH if I hadn't talked to James and said, throw it. James would have been.
Right.
So,
what hurt the most? Like, what diary room or what conversation?
the hardest conversation was the conversation I had with Omarosa after we flipped the house. And you guys only saw part of that. It actually got much worse. It was much below the belt and outside of the game, some of the things that she said to me. So that was a hard conversation. But I think it hurt knowing they turned on me so early. Like, you expect it later.
Yeah.
Right.
I was protecting them. I was doing everything to help them stay in the house. Week one, everything I did was for the group, and they didn't give me any credit for it. And then everything I said, they found ways to turn it around and like play it against me. So it's like I really felt like I couldn't do anything right.
Right.
Yeah, it's like something happened where everybody got it in their head that you were the enemy when really you were the one pushing the game forward.
And it's just because you were such a threat. Like, you came out as such a strong player. So in a way, it was smart of them. But for us, it was such a bummer. And for you, it was such a bummer. Going into the house and having watched all the seasons, was it completely different playing the game than you thought it was going to be?
I mean, it's different because it's shorter.
Yeah.
And that's why I made some of the decisions I made, because it didn't feel like there was going to be time to sit back and fade into the background and like not do anything. Like in a normal season, you kind of want to do that. But I'm like, this is like 3.5 weeks or something. You can't really do that.
Right.
So I had made the decision, if I could win the first HOH, win it, and use that power to build alliances, which kind of worked, but we kind of had the girls thing before we even went into that. And then it was all taken away from me when Keisha took over anyway. Yet, I still got blamed for everything that happened.
That was, I think, what was the worst thing to happen to you was her getting that twist. Because that sort of ruined everything.
Well, and if Chuck hadn't gone for the bag, I think we would have kept nominations, Meta and Mark. We would have just tried to backdoor James, which was the plan to start with. It was Keisha. I didn't even remember until I saw the episodes. I'm like, it was Keisha who originally suggested if he goes for the bag, we flip it and we put in James and Chuck.
Yeah.
But I got blamed for that.
Right.
Even in her exit speech, she
said
blamed me for everything.
It was her idea.
It's like I think she forgot that it was her idea too.
Yeah.
I just got blamed for everything. So after a while, I was like, well, the target's so big on me. What do I care? Let's just make it bigger. Like I just was going for everything.
Right.
Where do you stand with James right now?
Are
you rooting for him in a way?
Yeah, I'm rooting for James now.
Okay.
You know why? Because I feel like he has integrity. Like, yes, he couldn't stand by me in the end, but I don't blame him because he needed to stick with the numbers. But he's not in there bad-mouthing people that I've seen. I mean, maybe he is, and I haven't seen it, and maybe people can let me know, but he's not in there just calling people names. And I'm watching some of the live feeds, and they're still in there calling me names. Like, and it's hurtful. I don't know what I did to make them so mad, or they say, no, we love you to my face, and then they're calling me crazy and insane behind my back. I'm like, I don't know what I did that was so crazy and insane. I tried to save you guys, and by the way, I did save you.
Yeah.
Do you think when they watch the show back, they're going to feel differently about what they did? Do you think you're going to get some apologies?
No, I don't think they will.
Really?
I don't think they'll see it. Because I think so much of it happened over the live feeds, too, and they're not going to be able to go back and see all the live feeds. So they're only going to see the edited show, most likely, and maybe some highlight clips.
To watch it.
Right.
They probably will.
I would. Right?
Yeah, no, I think everybody will watch it. And they might watch some of the highlights, but they'll probably be more affected by what the public says to them, whether the public loves them or hates them. Whatever is said to them over social media is probably what will affect them most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our next bombshell.
Yes. So after your eviction, we then lost Meta, which was disappointing because both you and Keisha told me in our exit interviews that that's who you wanted to win.
Yeah.
That's who had your vote. He did not have a good answer in our exit interview as to why he couldn't last one more week.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
Oh, Meta. he so badly just wanted to go home and be with his wife, and even when we had the Valentine's Day messages, I was like, see, Meta, she said stick it out and win. That should be incentive enough. And I said this to him during a commercial break. I'm like, you can't jump out of this house. He tried to escape 3 times.
Which is crazy to me.
To everyone. So, I mean, and the fact that they sent him home this week, it was only to save all of themselves.
Right.
You know, it wasn't because they were like, oh, we're going to do you a favor and send you home. No, it was still very selfish because they wanted to just save themselves. So,
and because of that twist, the veto twist.
which was such a bad week for it. If they'd done it my week, we might have been able to do something interesting with it. But by Ross winning it, and they already had this all planned out, it was just kind of a waste of a twist.
Yeah.
There is that veto competition, which we had never really seen this veto competition before. So I'll be interested to see if this comes back in regular Big Brother. Though what I did love about this whole eviction situation was Brandy's speech to get saved. We actually have the clip here.
Brandy, you're up.
I just want to say thank you, Meta, for wanting to go home.
Thank you, Brandy.
And that was it.
That was all she had to say.
Yeah.
It looked like you and Meta, the night before you were evicted, had some really good conversation. It looked like you guys were really bonding.
Yeah.
Where does that friendship stand right now? And was there anything that you could have done?
I did try everything. He even tried. He tried to talk to them, and he's like, they don't want to let me leave because they don't want to play with you.
What do you make of Brandy voting to keep you?
Nothing. Nothing.
She thinks it was a ploy to get her vote at the finale.
No, I don't think that. That's what they think.
Oh, that's what they think.
They think it was a ploy to get her vote. I don't think she's that clever.
Right. So why do you think she did
I don't
that?
think she was thinking that far ahead. I think she literally just felt bad and wanted me to not feel bad and thought, well, if I give her a vote, she won't feel so bad.
Yeah.
I really do think in the moment she just said, okay, I'm just going to give her a vote.
Yeah.
So I don't think she knows to think about jury votes. Like, she doesn't know the game. She and Ari both self-admittedly don't know the game.
Right.
So that's giving too much credit for that.
Okay.
Does Meta know the game?
No.
No.
No,
Meta-
no, there's a handful of people that don't know the game or just started like watching. Meta didn't even watch it ahead of time. He's like, I don't want to know, I just go play. I'm like,
Meta told me he would play the game again, now knowing what it is, but wanted out at this point. It was very confusing if you want to watch the
they
full
will
interview.
never let him play the game again.
Yeah.
Trust me, the things that he was saying, I wish I could repeat them for you, maybe off camera. Like, we would be going live in like a minute, and every curse word you could think of aimed at like production because he was still in the house was coming out of his mouth. And like, production would be like, all right, get it out, Meta. All right, yep, just get it out now.
I always love on live feeds when it's like, we do not talk about production.
Yes. Oh, but now I can.
We have some fan comments and questions coming in, and if you do have anything that you want Shannon to know, drop them in the comments below.
Yes.
Madeline says, hi, what do you think you would do differently? I wanted you to win.
It would depend if it's a full season or not. And it would be hard now because now people know how I play.
Yeah.
I think what I would need is the producers to be like, all right, you're going to go in, and this is my dream. You're going to go in this regular season as like a strategist that's going to help all the players. So they can come to you and talk to you and bond with you. And then ideally, all of the challenges, I do it first and set the time that they have to beat. And then, so they do their normal challenges, but if they beat my time, then there's like an extra perk or something.
Oh.
So then it's the
Fun.
best of both worlds. And then maybe halfway through, I could actually
I was
be
going
in
to
the
say, like
game.
the coaches season
Yes,
when Janelle came
like
back.
the coaches
okay.
season.
Boogie
And Boogie, yes, and
So
Brittany.
it gives me time to like get in there and talk to people and strategize and have fun and bond. And then I can play later.
Right.
Allison Grodner.
Yes. Oh,
Pick up
I'm
these
gonna
notes.
talk to Allison. Please, Allison.
Any former BB players that you would love to play with, like to have on that season?
Oh gosh. I mean, it depends if I'm against them or with them. Like
Right.
with them. Like I love Janelle, obviously.
Yeah.
I always loved Evil Dick
Wow.
and Dan Giesling and Dr. Will.
Controversial.
Yeah, and
but
they're all
amazing.
all
very
great.
different.
Yeah.
They're
All
all
great.
different. But like if we were all on a team together, we'd kill it.
Would love that.
Would
Yeah.
love that.
Chilltown 2.0.
Yes.
Kendra says you played an amazing game. Debbie says she would love to see you again. And a lot of people are on where you are at, where they want James to win at this point.
Yeah, I just think he doesn't seem to be backstabbing people. He doesn't seem to be playing in a hurtful way. Yes, he was strong, and maybe because of that, everybody was wanting the underdogs in the beginning. But now he kind of has become the underdog because everyone's against him in a way, and they all keep trying to backdoor him, and they haven't been able to do it. So now I'm kind of like rooting for him to pull it out.
And he's also playing the game in a very forward way. He just wants to win the comps and
Yeah.
win that way.
Yeah, or throw it when you make a deal
Right.
and when needed. He's very smart.
He's playing all around the comps versus a lot of people are weighing a lot in the social game right now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got Mark as his ride or die, which is fine. And I mean, it was smart of him to do what he did this week, which, you haven't spoiled it yet. But
We'll do a spoiler alert now. We're
Yes.
going to dive into.
Spoiler alert.
This is our.
Mute this.
Yes.
Minus the window.
Come
X
back to
out.
it later. Come back in 5 minutes. Our third bombshell of the week is James threw the comp for Mark to win HOH.
yes.
And he's nominated Brandy and
And
Ari.
Ari.
yes.
What do you make of those nominations?
Well, I'm wondering if he didn't nominate Omarosa because he made a deal with her last week.
Okay.
And I'm thinking he might be sticking to that deal, even though he wasn't exactly sticking to the deal with the Ross stuff, but it never came to it because Ross pulled himself off. So the deal could still stand. Or he might just be like, oh, we can backdoor. But if they're smart, which I don't know if they are, but if they're smart, they'd get rid of Ari this week because nobody wants to sit next to Ari in the final two. You can sit next to Brandy, you can make a case next to Brandy, but Ari has just been this little like butterfly in the background that just looks like she's beautiful and she's strong and she's smart, and nobody really has reason to not vote for her in the end.
Right,
So you've got to start getting rid of these people.
She's kind of floated a little bit, but she's won enough that it's proving she's playing the game. So it's this, she is kind of that sweet spot that we've seen people win, like Jordan and people in the past.
I wouldn't want to sit next to her in the end. So that's who I would get out this week.
Do you think she's smarter than people in the house are giving her credit for? I feel like she's sliding by because they don't think that she's masterminding anything.
She plays a very good social game because she's a very, very sweet girl. She is inherently very sweet and quiet, so everyone loves her because of that.
Yeah.
So, and they truly don't want to vote her off because they're just playing like how Omarosa calls it Club Med. They're just playing like a fun little friendship game right now. So we'll see this week if they're playing the game of Big Brother or friendship.
Right, there's so much to go down in the next 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
If you were still in the house right now, what would you be doing?
It depends who I'm teamed up with. It depends like what I know. Like I knew, whether I jumped the gun on it or not, I knew there was a foursome with Ross, Marissa, James, and Mark. Now, I was calling it before I saw like them talk about it, so I don't know if it happened before I was evicted officially or not. But then Ross and Marissa also have a Final Four with Brandi and Ari.
Yes.
And I don't know if they realize how strong they both are, so they're just going to go wherever the power is.
Are we going to see them in the end, do you think? Ross and Marissa?
God, I hope not. I just hope that if we do, it's one and not both of them.
Okay.
Because then at least there's someone else and something else there to make a case for, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Fair
I
enough.
think if you see them in the end, then they've both gotten lucky and the chips have fallen the way they hoped. But it's going to start going so fast. I can't imagine that it's just going to end up being a perfect game for them.
Sure. Well, we want to move on to a little exclusive that we have. It's from the live feeds, and it has to do with this squash and Brandi that you actually told Brice about.
Yeah?
If you go up and look right now, Shannon's Fast 5 with us is up on ET Online right now. She said the weirdest thing you saw in the house was Brandi's relationship with this squash.
Yeah.
And, well, something weird happened with the squash beyond what was already happening with the squash. Watch this.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, Brandi.
In bed? In bed?
No, don't look at us.
You know what, Ross? I knew. I always knew. Ever since he was looking at your hat in the pantry, I knew. You guys aren't fooling anyone. I knew the whole time.
I'm really sorry. Tell her you're sorry.
You know what? It's fine. I mean, like,
He says he's really sorry.
All right, now what you saw happen was more graphic than that.
Yeah.
What did you see happen?
Well, it was one of those nights where Brandi had wine, and she grabbed it and basically straddled it.
I mean,
And
that's awkward, right?
It was, I mean, her group stopped her because the live feeds were going, and then when she wasn't paying attention, it was before there was a face on the squash. I took it and put it back in the pantry.
And I mean, I just have so many things to say,
There's so much time in that house.
yeah.
But as you
Weird.
can see, we start making up really stupid games because there's nothing to do.
Right.
The boredom is real in there.
The boredom's real. It's like, do we play hide and go seek? I mean, there's only so many places to hide. So there was the telenovela.
Right.
You know, we were learning Spanish.
She just said you guys invented a Twister game.
They
Yeah.
did the Twister. Yeah, I mean, you're really like sitting around staring at each other going, okay, now what? Now what do we do?
But you also are getting to learn about each other a lot in this house. And we have another live feed highlight here from Mark reliving his glory days.
But they were both number one, so that
What
was
year
fun.
was Fly?
Fly was 97. Every morning
Hell
was
yeah,
99.
it was 97.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, it was 97.
97, dude.
Came out on
It was
fire.
it was everywhere. It was
What was
even,
the most you got? Most spins per week on the radio? 3,000, 4,000?
no, more than that. I think Fly one time had like almost 12,000 spins a week, way up there.
Oh, that's so
I think we
crazy.
set a record for spins in a week.
I love
Okay.
Meta. So excited about
Seems
everything.
Curious, yeah. What was the most interesting thing that you learned about someone else in that house? Like a fun fact.
A fun fact. I'm trying to think. I mean, you learn a little bit about everyone, and I mean, honestly, the gamers were trying to retain everything because it could be a question later.
Yeah.
So we're listening, but we're also really trying to retain like facts of where people live and how many kids and what are the names of the kids and the dogs and like all of that stuff. I mean, I think you have to say Omarosa had the most interesting stories.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And we would try to pick her brain, and sometimes she'd remember there was like live feeds, so she wouldn't say much, and then sometimes she would let something slip. And
I was gonna say, do you feel like that was sort of a tactic in the house, sort of leaving those breadcrumbs of information of what was happening in the White House, or do you think she was being genuine about that?
I mean, we would ask her the questions, so
Yeah.
she usually wouldn't just say something unsolicited. But she was worried about what she's allowed to say, and she's writing a book, and she hasn't done an official, like, big interview about it all. So I think she was trying to hold on to a lot of things. But
I feel like that's more strategy outside of the
Yeah.
house than inside the house, the way she was
yeah,
dropping.
perhaps. I mean, I remember James had asked her about the tax code and the new tax code. And the only thing she said, he said, well, then why? Because I think she was saying there were bad things about it and good things or whatever. And he goes, well, then why did he change it to what it is now? And she was like, to help his rich friends. And she walked off.
That's what she is. Just gives
It's
enough
like,
little
oh.
tiny nuggets.
Yeah,
Right.
it was just enough, and she's out. And it's like, okay.
Wow. Where do you and Omarosa stand today? Will you be friends outside of the house?
I think we'll be friendly. I mean, I don't know, because I thought we'd be fine and we'd be friends, but like I'm watching the live feeds and she's saying things about me now too. Maybe she can justify it and say, well, I needed to bond with them
Right.
and keep in their good graces, and it's tough, but I mean, I don't hold any ill will against her. I think for the most part, what she and our riff, it was a game, but she did say a few things that were outside of the game that were hurtful and hard because they weren't true, and things I was worried about that just shouldn't have been said. But I don't feel like I'm gonna have a problem with her. Like I could be friends with her, friendly.
Right.
If
All right.
Omarosa and Marissa are in the final two, who gets your vote?
Omarosa.
There, she's playing the game. We do have to start wrapping things up here. We do want to watch Meta's Fast Five really quick because he was very fast with it. So here it is. Who will win? If you had to call it now, who's going to win?
Ross.
Who was the worst house guest?
We love each other. The worst house guest, I would say it's between James and Brandy. Those two got the most kind of annoying comments.
Okay. Who is your friend for life out of this game?
Everyone.
Everybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the strangest thing you saw in that house?
The strangest thing in the house, me and Chuck Liddell had nail polish on. The toughest guys in the house or whatever had nail polish on.
We watched that go down. And then one word to describe your Celebrity Big Brother experience.
An emotional roller coaster.
An emotional roller coaster for sure.
2 words.
Oh, Meta.
2 words there from Meta. And if you want to watch Shannon answer those same questions for us, and it's up on etonline.com right now.
We do want to ask you, because you were very vocal in your exit speech and even with Julie about your work with the animals in South Africa.
Yeah.
Were you going to donate the winnings to that cause?
So the way I was going to do it was this. I wasn't donating the winnings, but what the winnings would allow me to do is I never use donor money to pay for administration costs for the charity. It always goes into the field. So winnings and anything that I make, I was going to use it as my costs, my administration to cover me. So if I need to travel somewhere to do the work, it covers my fees, and that way I'm never taking from donor fees.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my number one rule. And it's hard, and that's why I keep everything on a smaller scale. but I just believe if you're donating money for the animals, it should go to the animals.
And how can people, if they want to get involved,
Yeah.
how can they?
They can go to animalavengers.com, and rhinoreview.org is a new initiative that we're just starting up and taking signups and stuff for. And then Animal Avengers on all social media platforms.
Have you already seen more support coming in
Yes,
for that because
yes.
of Big Brother? Yeah.
People have been amazing. Thank you to everyone who has donated and written to me and helped. I'm still catching up on everything, but I'm so grateful. And it is, you know, I may not have won Big Brother, but the animals won, and that's all that matters to me. So
There you go. I love that.
What a great final note.
Yeah, we'll leave it on that positive note. Make sure to subscribe to ET on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, do all those things.
Follow Shannon.
Yes, and her charity
Yes.
on all socials, so you're up to date on all that stuff.
Yes.
And then we will be with Shannon on Sunday night at the Big Brother finale. So look out for that, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
bye.